I'm writing this from my childhood bedroom at 34 years old, listening to my parents whisper downstairs about what a disappointment I've become. 3 weeks ago, I had a husband who loved me, 2 kids who thought I hung the moon, and a life that looked perfect from the outside. Now I have nothing but the wreckage I created with my own hands. The affair started innocently enough. David from work always made me laugh during those soul-crushing Monday meetings. He'd text me funny memes, compliment my presentations, make me feel seen in ways that Mark hadn't in years. Mark was a good husband, don't get me wrong. He worked hard, came home every night, helped with bedtime routines. But somewhere between mortgage payments and soccer practice schedules, we'd stopped really looking at each other. We become roommates raising kids together. I told myself I deserved to feel alive again. My friends Sarah and Jen were always posting about girls' nights and weekend getaways, living their best lives while I folded laundry and packed school lunches. Social media made it look so easy to just grab happiness wherever you found it. You only live once, Sarah would say when she'd encourage me to text David back. Mark doesn't appreciate what he has anyway. The lies came easier than I expected. Working late became meeting David for drinks. Business trips became weekend escapes to hotels an hour away. I'd come home to my 8-year-old Emma asking about my day, and I'd kiss her forehead while my phone buzzed with David's texts in my pocket. At bedtime, I'd read stories to her and 5-year-old Jake, their sleepy faces trusting me completely, while inside I was someone else entirely. For 6 months, I lived 2 lives. The responsible mom who made Pinterest-worthy birthday parties and attended every school event, and the woman who felt electric when David's hand touched mine across restaurant tables. I convinced myself I was handling it perfectly. That I could have both. That no one would get hurt if I was careful enough. The morning Mark found out, I was making pancakes for the kids. Emma was arguing with Jake about syrup flavors, and everything felt normal. Mark walked into the kitchen holding my phone. I'd forgotten to delete David's message from the night before. Can't wait to see you again, beautiful. Last night was incredible. Mark didn't yell. He didn't throw the phone or demand explanations. He just set it on the counter and said, I'm taking the kids to my mom's for a few days. We'll talk when I figure out what to say to them. His voice was so quiet, so completely empty, that my pancake batter hands started shaking. Mark, wait, I can explain. Don't. He was already walking toward the stairs. Just don't. I watched through the kitchen window as he loaded suitcases into his car. Emma kept asking why they were leaving so early, why mommy wasn't coming. Jake waved at me from his car seat, his gap-toothed smile the last normal moment before everything changed forever. The house felt like a tomb after they left. I called David, sobbing, expecting comfort. Instead, he said he couldn't see me anymore. That this was too complicated now. That his wife couldn't find out. Wife. He'd never mentioned a wife. I sat in my empty kitchen, pancake batter still on my hands, realizing I'd traded everything real for something that was never even mine to begin with. 6 months later, I'm unemployed, divorced, and have my kids every other weekend if I'm lucky. Mark got the house, primary custody, and the respect of everyone who knew us. I got the reputation as the woman who threw her family away for a coworker who dumped her the second things got messy. The divorce was swift and brutal. Mark's lawyer painted me as an unfit mother who prioritized an affair over her children's stability. They weren't wrong. Text messages, hotel receipts, lies I told about work trips, it all came out in court documents that somehow made their way to the school WhatsApp groups. Now I'm the cautionary tale other wives whisper about at soccer games I'm no longer invited to attend. My in-laws, who'd been like second parents to me for 12 years, act like I'm dead. Mark's mom used to text me pictures of the kids constantly. Now I see them on her Facebook page, living their lives without me. Christmas morning, birthday parties, first days of school, I'm cropped out of their family story like I never existed. The hardest part is watching my children learn not to trust me. Emma asks pointed questions now. Are you really going to pick us up this time, or will you have work stuff? Jake, who used to run to me when I walked in the door, hangs back and waits to see if I'm staying or leaving again. They've learned that mommy's promises don't mean much. I moved back in with my parents, who are kind enough not to say I told you so but disappointed enough that it hangs in the air anyway. My dad can barely look at me. My mom tries to be supportive but keeps asking how I could risk those beautiful babies for someone who didn't even leave his wife. Job hunting is humiliating. Word got around about why I left my last position. Professional references are harder to come by when you've slept with a colleague and created a hostile work environment. David still works there, by the way. Got a promotion, actually. His wife never found out. I started therapy, thinking it would help me rebuild. Dr. Martinez makes me say the words out loud. I chose to have an affair. I chose to lie to my family. I chose to risk everything for a temporary feeling. The choices were all mine. The consequences are all mine too. Sometimes I see Mark at school pickup. He's dating someone now, Jennifer, a divorced mom from Jake's class who volunteers for everything and never misses bedtime. She's patient with my kids, kind to them in ways that make my chest tight with jealousy and regret. Emma calls her Jen and laughs at her jokes. Jake lets her help him with his shoes. I used to be the person they ran to with scraped knees and bad dreams. Now I'm the every other weekend mom who takes them to restaurants and movies, desperately trying to buy back their affection in 2-day increments. They're polite with me now, careful. They save their real emotions for the home where they actually live. Last weekend, Emma asked me why I made Daddy so sad. I gave her some watered-down explanation about grown-up mistakes, but she just stared at me with Mark's eyes and said, "You chose the other man over us, didn't you?" There's no good answer to that question. Because in every moment I chose to text David instead of talking to Mark, every time I chose a hotel room over a family dinner, every lie I told to cover my tracks, I was choosing him over them. An 8-year-old figured out what I'd spent months pretending wasn't true. I thought I was smart enough to have it all, strong enough to keep my worlds separate, special enough that the rules didn't apply to me. Turns out, I was just another woman who traded a life worth keeping for a fantasy that evaporated the moment it got inconvenient. The worst part isn't the divorce or the custody arrangement or even the loneliness. It's knowing that my children will grow up with a broken foundation because their mother couldn't resist the thrill of being wanted by someone new. They'll carry this betrayal into their own relationships someday, wondering if the people who claim to love them are just one exciting text message away from disappearing. I see other families at the grocery store now, parents who look tired and ordinary and completely devoted to each other, and I want to grab them by the shoulders and say, "Do you know how lucky you are? Do you know what you have?" But I'm just the woman in line behind them, buying dinner for one, learning too late that ordinary love is actually the most extraordinary thing in the world. Last night, Jake called me by accident while trying to call his friend. I could hear him in the background telling Jen about his day at school, asking her to help him find his favorite stuffed animal, saying "I love you too" before hanging up. That's when I finally understood, I didn't just lose my husband. I lost my place in my children's daily happiness, and someone else has filled it beautifully. The life I threw away is thriving without me in it.